The ZDX, once a coupe crossover before its time that didn't do so well for Acura, is now being revived as a fully electric vehicle under the same nameplate. This is a fully electric ZDX. We have new details on when it's going to be revealed, when it's going to be available, what's going to be put into the vehicle in terms of technology, and it's going to be quick. Let's get into it. The 2024 ZDX is going to be revealed on August 17th during Monterey Car Week. Acura and Honda really like Monterey Car Week. They've shown NSXs there before. They've also, I think that's also when they revealed the Integra, if I remember correctly, about a couple years back now. And Acura has confirmed that the ZDX is the most powerful and quickest accelerating SUV in the brand's history. Okay, so what is currently the most powerful and quickest? Well, most powerful is probably the MDX Type S with a little, like, what is it, 355 horsepower, 354 pound-feet of torque off the top of my head, and the quickest accelerating. So if I remember right, the MDX Type S was 0 to 60 in around 6 seconds. Don't be surprised if we see mid-4s here from the Type S of the ZDX. If you guys missed my walk around in New York City on the Precision EV Concept from Acura, make sure to check that out. But a lot of those styling cues are being baked in. Don't worry, we got spy shots that we'll rehash as well as the new images that Acura shared with us. We'll get into that a little bit after we finish the heavy hitters from the press release. We also have the illuminated diamond Pentagon grille. So they're sticking with that as an identity for their vehicles. Acura is also integrating Google built-in for the first time ever on this ZDX. The cool thing is that they are not abandoning Apple CarPlay or Android Auto like a lot of General Motors EVs, which are abandoning those prized pieces of technology for so many users out there. All right, Bang & Olufsen stereo. It is replacing the ELS here, and we'll see Bang & Olufsen permeate the Acura lineup with new models, probably refreshes as well, but new models that come along. When's the next model after the ZDX is going to be the redesigned RDX, and that'll be exciting. You know, it's probably going to have a Type S as well with the 2-liter K20C engine with Type R and Type S Integra sort of chomps, but with super handling all-wheel drive. And that's what I wish was in the Integra, but at least we'll get it in the RDX. But slam it to the ground a little bit. Anyways, I'm getting really excited about the RDX Type S, but we're still probably a year and a half, 2 years away from that. All right. So let's break down the video here. There's also some audio. I'll play the audio now for you guys in the background. But there doesn't seem to be any fancy like light show to turn on the lights, but that could change for production. We know the Cadillac Lyric likes the light show. Now, what we see here, look at the typing down below. ZDX Type S pre-production model shown. Production model may vary. So we're actually seeing. We have the Jewel Eye headlights reprising the role. We got the chicane style daytime running lights, and then the pretty cool outline. What do you guys think of the outline of the Diamond Pentagon grille? Since new electric cars, they don't need nearly as much air, and aerodynamics is more important. Do you guys like what you see here? I think this is the best illuminated image. And so I'm going to, I guess, zoom in here, brighten it up a little bit for you guys, and check out what we have going on here. So very aggressive little sport intakes here, it's probably for aerodynamics to send the wind through the wheel and around the wheel arch area. Now, this area down here is a complete mystery at this point, but we'll try to fill in the gaps here with the spy shots that we have in a second. We have black mirrors, and this looks to be like that blue color. I know we have blue lighting here, so I mean, it could be a white paint color, but more than likely this is blue, and a similar blue to what we saw on the Acura EV Precision Concept. We're going to have massive wheels on here. There's no doubt, probably up to 22 inches here on the Type S model. All right, so let's get into the spy shots because, well, now that we know what the headlights look like, these are placeholder because we got the Jewel Eye beautiful chicane style running lights, you know. Now that's been filled out and we know that this is going to be illuminated. And I wouldn't be surprised if there's an illuminated, let's go back to the other image. I wouldn't be surprised if Acura offers an illuminated Acura badge because remember the Integra has that. So hopefully we get that sort of treatment here as well. And this fills in the bottom portion that was kind of blacked out, right? So you can see it takes in the air from these 4 or 5 little horizontal pieces here. Yeah, parking sensors up front. Now, I don't think this is a Type S. The wheels here are just not big enough. I think these are probably 20s or 21s here. It looks like 20s, but it could be bigger. And I think the Type S is going to have 22-inch wheels like the V Series Lyric. And we had kind of this floating roofline here, and this back portion reminds me a lot of the RX 350L, the third row variant of the RX that was discontinued. We have roof rails as well. Even though this is going to be like MDX size with a longer wheelbase with shorter overhangs, I don't expect 3 rows of seats. Like this looks, that would be extremely cramped for a third row back there. So I think this is just going to be a two row, and then eventually we'll have a 3 row because Acura's MDXs, that's their bread and butter. Anything else here? We'll have the chicane style taillights as well. That we see on other Acura products. And it's not going to be quite a light bar that goes all the way across. I think we'll have an Acura badge here, and these are going to be quite wide lights, but these kind of are giving me vibes that we see on the CX-90, for example, from Mazda. Now, since this is going to be built in Spring Hill, Tennessee, at the General Motor factory alongside of the Cadillac Lyric, and it's going to be essentially you could say a recladding or rebadging with a lot of Acura design in there, as well as Acura technology with that Google built in and their own implementation of their own software and sound systems, etc. They probably are going to take advantage of the Super Cruise, which is awesome. I've heard really, really good. I've never tested it, but I've heard really, really good things about it in General Motors products. So this vehicle, the ZDX, will start around $60,000. And it should qualify for the EV tax credit of some sort. We're also going to see more than likely a rear-wheel drive Acura for the first time outside of the first-gen NSX. Pretty crazy, right? In the form of this electric vehicle. They could make it front-wheel drive if they wanted to, but no, I mean, that would just be a complete, like, I don't even want to imagine this in front wheel drive with the amount of power and torque that it has. So anyways, we have 307 miles of range in all-wheel drive in the base trim and up to 314 miles of range in the rear-wheel drive model. When you get to the bigger wheels, those ranges, of course, are going to go down. Now, in the luxury grade here, you have up to 19.2 kilowatts of AC charging. That is... Well, assuming you have that installed at your house, that is incredibly quick. I typically charge at like 3.3 kilowatts of AC charging, which is 3 times faster than what you see on just a standard household plug-in. So this is like 20 times faster than your standard household plug-ins. Absolutely insane. Panel roof. I wouldn't be surprised if we have a panel roof standard here on the ZDX. And what kind of trim levels will we see from the ZDX? Well, we know that there's going to be a range topping Type S, which is going to be more expensive than this Sport, because the Sport is just like a different style compared to what we have on the luxury. It's only like, what, $500 more. So the Type S is going to have bigger brakes. And if we want to know exactly what the Type S is, more than likely, so there was a leak on the Lyric V, and of course this vehicle would be a parallel or a GM clone of the Type S ZDX. So apparently it's going to launch with the same power as a regular all-wheel drive model, but I think that's been debunked at this point. I think Acura has said since that leak that the Lyric could absolutely have more power in this V model. So stay tuned. I mean, the 17th, when this vehicle is unveiled, we might actually have more details. We will see at least 500 horsepower and 450 pound-feet of torque, and that should get this ZDX Type S to 60 miles an hour in about 4.5 seconds. And the V Series seems to be getting massive Brembo brakes. We see Brembo brakes already on Type S models, so that's no surprise. 20-inch rotors. Remember this thing, well, they say that the Lyric weighs 3 tons, so the ZDX will as well. We need massive 20-inch rotors in the front and 18 inches in the back. And they're getting 22-inch wheels for the Lyric V with 275 summer tires. I would suspect range would go all the way down to around 250 miles of range with that sort of setup. You have a lot of extra rotating unsprung mass there. So I think the range will go down quite significantly. And, you know, the base models are already very, very fast. Even the rear-wheel drive models are plenty quick. So I don't think a lot of people will need to spring for the Type S, but it just depends on the efficiency. If there's not that big of a drop in range, then maybe it's definitely a good buy. But I can't wait to see you guys down below on your thoughts on the ZDX and the Type S variant. What do you want to see from it? Do you want 300 miles of range in the Type S? I think you should be able to have your cake and eat it too when you're spending more money on performance. But yeah, there's always a give and a take with EVs because more performance typically means more weight, and less range and bigger wheels, etc. Anyways, I got to shut it down. Thank you guys for watching. I'll see you guys back at the reveal, which is August 17th. Stay tuned for that. Can't wait to share it with you guys. Catch you in the next one. Peace.